Hey everybody, welcome back to PathMonk Presents. PathMonk is the AI for website conversions. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in their buying journey separates you from the competition online. PathMonk qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50% by adding PathMonk to your website in seconds, letting the artificial intelligence do all the work, and increase conversions by 50% while you keep doing marketing as usual. Check us out on pathmonk.com. Hey everybody, welcome back to PathMonk Presents. Today we're really excited to have Sabrina from Olivea on the line today. Sabrina, how you doing today?
I'm good, Kevin. Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, we're really excited to learn about your e-commerce company, how it got started, what you guys are doing from a marketing and growth perspective. But before we dive into anything a little bit too deep, why don't you tell us what's the company all about?
Of course. So, Olivia is really all about the medical benefits of extra virgin olive oil. So, let me just explain in very simple terms what is it that we do. You've probably heard about, LDL cholesterol. It's kind of like known as like the bad cholesterol. So, what's very interesting about it is that plaque formation in the arteries actually starts when oxidation of LDL starts to occur. What's even better and more interesting is that extra virgin olive oil, and specifically hydroxytyrosol, which is one of the key polyphenols found in extra virgin olive oil, prevents this from happening.
Hmm.
So why is it that, we started doing Olivia and like everything around it? Unfortunately, it started with a very personal story for myself. Back in 2021, my dad passed away suddenly. He had no history of like health issues. He was young, 56 years old. My entire family was super shocked and shaken by the news of it. And that kind of like started my own journey of like, why is it that, people are just having heart attacks and strokes and like it's the one thing that you really can't plan for, right? Obviously, it's like so uncertain. And we really weren't getting any answers to our questions. So I kind of like started going down that rabbit hole of like, what are the natural ways to like that you could prevent something like this from happening? And that's when I came across like an amazing amount of research done on extra virgin olive oil specifically. And the research was just like outstanding. Like it showed that 1 in 3 people actually um could suffer from a vascular condition down the line. So to me, it was just like, how is it that so many people could come across something like this, lose a family member or like actually have a heart attack themselves or a stroke, and it's yet something that people are just not talking about. Um, so I am lucky enough to have one of my best friends. He's a cardiologist, Harvard trained, super smart guy, and he has done a lot of research in this field specifically. He happens to be from Greece, so it all kind of like lined up perfectly. He validated all the data and he was like, "Yeah, I think there's something here." So we very quickly like ran to one of his friends who happens to own and for his family has for quite some time run one of the largest olive oil producers in Greece. And we were like, hi, like I think we can do something with this. Like there is a natural way to like potentially prevent heart attacks and strokes from occurring. So with that, like I think even it goes a little bit further, like everything that you observe from the Mediterranean diet and how they live, and how they just, supplement everything with olive oil, and not only that, but like the fish, the fruits, the vegetables, and just their lifestyle, it is so lacking in Western diets. So we were like, we need to make it something that, people in the US and other places in the world can like easily reap these benefits that people in the Mediterranean are just like living off. These people are like, you hear about the blue zones and they live until they're like 90, 100 years old. And yet in America, specifically, it's just like so foreign, right? So we basically just developed a way, an easy way to reap the benefits of extra virgin olive oil, particularly hydroxytyrosol, in a single 4-calorie capsule. Um, the research shows that you potentially like only need 5 milligrams of hydroxytyrosol daily to like get the benefits for the vascular system. So what we did is with Olivia, we have a capsule and capsule technology where the inner capsule packs 20 milligrams of hydroxytyrosol, and then the outer cap has high phenolic extra virgin olive oil. So that would be like the equivalent of like having 5 tablespoons of olive oil a day, which can like amount to a lot of calories if you really care about tracking that. But really the idea is just like, hey, it's easy enough to like get the benefits of extra virgin
Yeah,
olive
and all
oil.
the resources that your body needs all in one place. Yeah,
That's
especially if the
right.
rest of your diet, like you said, is lacking in the Western medicine. That's a really interesting way to kind of bring all those benefits to the people in the Western world who might not be benefiting from a similar diet. So I want to talk a little bit more about the products and the growth strategies and the marketing. Maybe you can tell me, who is the product best for?
Yeah. So, really this product is good for everyone. And that's the one thing that I think it's very important to share just because you're not going to feel effects like, if you take a supplement that's for your gut or something that's for, their bloat relief. Like you're not going to feel immediate effects. This more of a preventative measure that yourself in 20 years, in 40 years is going to thank you for doing this. So really, we really go after people in their 30s and above, but this can be used for anyone. And it's really just it's an enhancement, right? It's like taking fish oil. It's like you take it, but
Hmm.
you really not feeling anything, but like it's good for you. It's similar in that way.
Yeah, that makes sense. And me being in my 30s, maybe I should start adding it to my regimen. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Okay, so I want to talk about um, how does your audience typically find out about you? You know, we're always interested in learning about what you guys are doing from a marketing standpoint and how you're making sure that your reach is as large as possible. So yeah, I guess my question is like, what are some of your top acquisition channels and how do people typically find out about you guys?
Yeah, great question. So we are small. So we are really trying to make a presence online, obviously. You're gonna find us online. We have a great website, and we are gonna talk about that more. But I think having a good backbone to your website and like having all the tools and research put in place, blogs, it has been very beneficial to all of us, like, to Olivia. We're also like on social media. You can find us organically on our channels, on Instagram particularly. And then you might just, we're doing a lot of ads on Meta. We find that that's a good source just to like, start feeling things out, testing messaging, seeing what people are resonating with, what converts, what doesn't, and you get a lot of quick learnings. So it's good.
You know, I'm curious. I know that we were kind of chatting about your website a little bit before this call,
Yeah.
and I saw that you guys were trying some ads on a whole bunch of different places. You mentioned Meta specifically right now, but do you see that that's performing better for you guys rather than maybe like Google ads or TikTok ads or something like that?
Yeah, great question. So for now, it has been. Meta has been like the platform that's been performing best for us. We are doing a lot of like we're not spending particularly on a lot on like Google, but it is part of our plan to grow our SEO strategy so that we organically can
Mm,
just be showing up higher, getting more domain authority. We are trying to like partner with newsletters or other people who could be of in the same field where we can like share backlinks.
mhm.
Uh, so it is all part of like the baked in strategy, but Meta is the one place where we just like are particularly focused on.
Mm, interesting, interesting. Yeah, no, depending on the audience, depending on who you're targeting, it seems like everyone has different types of success based on which platforms they're running their ads on. So I'm curious as to why it is the 30-year-olds who need this type of capsule, we'll say, for the health benefits, seem to mostly be on Meta. It's interesting
Yes.
how that kind of lines up. Okay. So speaking of the website, I know you guys have a Shopify website and it looks like it's doing really well and it's really well designed. Maybe you can tell me in terms of the website, how does it play into your client acquisition strategy? And are there any major strengths or weaknesses to the website?
Yeah. So I think we wanted to make a website where, we have like this new product that, hydroxytyrosol, what is that? Sounds kind of scary. Like, you don't have to be. And we're kind of like geeky about it too, because like there is tons of research and we take it seriously. So our strategy was like, okay, how can we take all this magnitude of like great information and break it down really and make it all very digestible? Because like science can be sexy and like the reason that we're doing it is because it's real and it's backed by real claims and studies and trials. And we don't want to shy away from that. I think it's our number one backbone of, credibility. So we really I have a great team and we've kind of like just partnered on content and just making it what are some of like the valuable pieces, that we can have like on blogs, on short articles, on ebooks and just like really breaking down, you know, piece by piece the research, making people understand, like having that aha moment of like, oh, I didn't realize like this is true and like it's real. And it doesn't have to be that complicated really. So our entire website is built around the narrative of science, the claims, the research, which, every single day, we are going out there finding new things, putting it on the website and just keeping up, right? Because like we can't just be doing the same thing forever.
Yeah, and outside of just having facts that work that people like to read and help convert them, like from an SEO point of view, constantly putting out new pieces of content keeps your website fresh and keeps your website up to date with keywords. So it sounds like you guys are definitely doing the right thing there.
Yeah, and it's great for like building funnels like you were talking about, like, from an ad, take them to a landing page where we're talking about something that's relevant. Olive oil is just like such a hot topic right now. Starbucks is putting it on their coffee and like people are just taking shots of it. And, you know, it's all kinds of crazy things. And it's like you need to kind of like ride that wave too and being like, hey, like, yes, some of these like you should be doing, maybe some of these not so much, but here are the facts, really.
Exactly. Yeah. What is like a real way, and what other companies are just looking to jump on the wave of this olive oil hotspot? That
Ugh,
makes sense.
exactly.
Good luck. Good luck navigating those treacherous waters. Speaking of the website, I know that conversions are always number one. Like PathMonk is always looking to help people with conversions, but what do you guys do to make sure that you have a great converting website? Are there any sort of tools or tips or recommendations that you have about what makes a great converting website?
Yeah, I would recommend interactive tools. People just like love playing around with things and like getting personalized results. We've had a lot of success with vascular quizzes. So, to pop out, you can like click into it, fill out your information. We'll give you recommendations based on what you input. Also, as I mentioned, landing pages with like a lot of valuable information. So quick hitting notes, ebooks, short, format copy that people can easily understand the value prop. And then something that I really like didn't even think it was going to be that important, but it has proven to be is an about us page. People want to know who is behind this company and like why should we trust the company but also the people behind it. So, being adding that human touch and an element I think is also a good tip.
That's a really good, yeah, kind of not just social proof, but kind of like you said, that's all based on science, right? So the scientific proof, it sounds like, is one of the things that really helps. Okay, so I want to move a little bit away from Olivia and the website and a little bit more into kind of Sabrina as the marketing professional, if you don't mind. So my next question is more so, what are some of the key tasks that you focus on a day-to-day basis? Like, as you're running the marketing team at Olivia, like, what do the typical things look like in terms of whether it's reporting or sales or activities? Like, what are you looking at to make sure that everything's trending in the right direction?
Yeah, great question. So as I mentioned earlier, fortunate enough to have like a good team that can support multiple aspects of the business. Personally, I am always kind of like on the lookout of like how can I get this message to land? So I'm looking at content on other platforms, seeing what other people are doing, seeing the engagement that they get really, and being like, oh, okay, how can that translate to like a piece for Olivia, right? Um, So always keeping up with the trends and what, people are putting out there, just learning from that. Um, that is a big part of like developing ad copy, developing social media strategy, even content for the website. The other part that I focus on is like getting us on trying to find like other ways to like expand and like getting Olivia to more hands. So looking for, to platforms such as like Amazon, supermarkets, local places. So I'm always like kind of like knocking on doors and seeing where the next opportunities are.
Awesome. That sounds great. Opportunities is always one thing, and we love having you on the podcast as well. I would consider that an additional opportunity. Okay, focusing on Sabrina as well. I know that we're always looking to kind of grow, improve, get smarter, get stronger, whatever it might be, but we're always going to different places to kind of learn and consume content. So, where do you go to kind of make sure that you're staying up to date?
Yeah. Well, podcasts, number one. I
Thank you.
love a good podcast. I think it's an easy and quick way to get a lot of valuable information, really. And when you're not doing anything with your time, it feels productive.
Mhm.
And I can't lie, my husband is like my biggest resource. Like I come home and he's already like downloaded a bunch of like podcast information. He keeps feeding it to me. He knows what's the latest on the news. He knows everything. So he keeps me up to date on a lot of things as well.
That's awesome. You come home from for the day and he says, "Today in today's news, here's what I got for you."
Literally what
Uh,
it feels like.
that's excellent. Okay, the next one is a little bit more playful, but maybe you can tell me what's the last book that you read?
Yeah. I haven't had the chance to pick up a good book in a while, but the last book that I remember reading was Zero to One by Peter Thiel. Great book on startups and just that mentality to like really push through. I myself, I'm a startup person. Like my entire career has been in startups, hence why I'm starting my own. And I think that book really like rounded up nicely what it takes to take something from zero to one. Sorry.
Sounds great, and I'll have to add it to my list.
Mm.
The next one, if there were no boundaries in technology, what would be one thing that you would want to have fixed for your role as a marketer today?
That's a tricky one. Interesting question. I I think like as a marketer, it's just getting harder to probably not even reach the right people, but like where the attribution to, like figuring that entire piece. You feel like you unlock something and then you're like, okay, but where did that come from? And kind of like replicating it. And I think like keeping up with the trends as well, everything changes by the second. The new algorithms and it's just like a new playbook, it feels like every single week. And I don't know that I think it's like a blessing in disguise. It keeps you on your toes. It makes you a better marketer. You have to keep up with the wave. So I mean, I guess that's the one thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, you're not the only one to say that on this call. Attribution is definitely a big one, and staying up to the trends and being able to know, like, before trends are happening, like, how can you make sure you're adjusting appropriately? That's a pretty common answer. Um, Next, what is one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you were to restart your journey as a marketer today?
Just go for it. Don't think about it too much. Like if there's something in your gut that tells you I have something here, then give it a shot.
Yeah, be brave. I like that. I like that a lot. And we've got two questions left. We're going to wrap things up nice and quickly. And before we do so, I just want to say thank you so much for joining the show. But before we do wrap things up, number one, what's new with Olivia? Anything going on? Any new products coming out? Any new developments? Like, tell us what we can expect in the future.
Yeah, funny you ask. We're actually gearing up. So Olivia, the main um product we have is our supplement, obviously, but we're gearing up to launch our new olive oil. High phenolic, super high quality, single source, nothing mixed. And I can give an entire master class on why that matters, but I'll keep it short. You'll probably want to have our olive oil.
Looking forward to it. And the last question I have for you is, If somebody watching this podcast was to forget everything that they just heard, what is the one thing that they should remember about Olivia?
I think you can never prepare for life's uncertainties, but you can certainly do things about it. So just take care of your own health and do what your body is telling you to do.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining today, Sabrina. We really enjoyed having you. Everyone, if you're looking for some awesome natural health benefits, check out Olivia's website. We'll link it in the in this post. Sabrina, thank you so much for joining us today, and I really look forward to seeing what you guys do in the future.
Thank you so much, Kevin.